March couples night 2021, and time is marching on. Spring's on its way. All right, which I'm looking forward to, so that's really great. But put your ovens on 350 because we're going to start with the dessert. All right, and doing the crust of the dessert first, and then we'll move on to the chicken second. All right, hope you guys have everything measured out. No competition as to who can keep up with me the most. We'll get started. I'm going to start with my crust. So we've got our graham crackers and some melted butter. Of course, my butter. Oh no, it's still melted. Yeah, and my nuts here as well. So I'm going to put them all in the food processor with 4 teaspoons of sugar. I've got sugar all over the place here. Let's get the right one. So we're just going to make. I hope you guys. I reduced this recipe down for a 6 or 7 inch spring form because originally it was like a 9 inch, and that's fine. You can do it in a bigger one if you did more. But I thought we were going to make such a big one. It seemed a bit daft to do. So I've got a 6.5 inch one right here that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna grind. Sorry, go ahead.
I got a 9 inch pan, but. I borrowed it from the neighbors because we didn't have one.
All right. Well, you're going to end up with a thin crust. Did you put your crust in already?
I did. Yeah. I put the crust in and then I let it cool and then I put the cheese stuff on. So it's cooking.
All right. So yours is just not yours. It probably won't take as long to cook.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
If it's thinner. All right.
So I put it in for an hour. Should I not do an hour?
Yeah, I start checking it at about 45 minutes if I were you.
Okay.
Because depending on how thin it is. Okay.
Gaynor, I have a question about the crust. We don't have walnuts, but we found almonds.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Pecans. Does it matter?
No, whatever you fancy is fine. I mean, you could do it with all graham crackers. It's up to you. But yeah, just any almonds would be fine. Any nuts, would be fine. Just adds a nice flavor to it, so it's
I will do
and you want to make sure that your butter this coats this fairly well. If it doesn't, then just melt a little bit more butter. All right, because you want to make sure that these are kind of gelling together a little bit. Let me grab a spatula.
Hey Andy, my buddy loved the Joel 27 Air Max. He wanted to buy them off me. I said, no deal.
Yeah, no deal, man.
He said, "Oh, those Air Maxes?" I was like, "You bet your bottom dollar, boy."
What are Air Maxes?
Nike shoes.
Oh, okay.
Very fancy Nike shoes.
For the groomsmen's gift, Andy got all the groomsmen customized shoes that have our wedding date on them.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they're the Air Max brand of Nike shoes.
Oh, okay.
That's so cool. There's the shot of what you're doing, Gaynor, like the
side view.
Yeah, the overhead one. Yeah. And with some things we'll do, I'll just make that big so you can make it big as well. I often just sometimes make it big because it's just that's my iPad. So I'm just you want to just flatten these in the bottom of your pan. And the one thing we have to remember to do here is when we put the filling in, is to make sure that we reduce the heat. So when this comes out after 10 minutes, we want to make sure we reduce the heat because it will cook too quick otherwise.
Ooh, I didn't do that.
All right, so I'm going to pop that in for like 10 minutes, all right? And it'll firm it up a little bit. My dog likes to help me. She's always here helping me out.
Aw, what's her name?
Her name is Truvy. She's a Skye Terrier. She's a very old Skye Terrier. I have a puppy as well who's upstairs with my husband because she's a little terror. She would eat any scraps or even not scraps. She was trying to pinch the chicken when I was sorting it out earlier. There we go. All right. Ah! Who's doing that?
That's us. That's a problem in the meeting.
Yeah, that's all right. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what we'll do, we'll make the filling now, and then as I say, I'm going to let it cool a bit before I put it in. All right. So I've got my my mixer here. If anybody's looking for an electric mixer that isn't the price of a KitchenAid, I am quite impressed with these. It's, of course, can't remember the name of it, but I saw it online, and it was only $100, and I decided to give it a whirl. I have to look at the name on it. Let me see. It's got letters BCP, and it's literally $100. It's about a third of the price, and this is a 6-quart one. And
That's what you need, Ellen, Andy.
I brought it
Yeah,
home thinking, I got it, and I thought, well, I'm going to try it with bread dough. If it does a good job with bread dough, that's great. It'll pass my test. And it did do a good job. It's not metal like a KitchenAid. So I'm not sure long term how durable it's going to be, but it's much lighter than a KitchenAid as well. But this bowl it's big, but it's wider than a KitchenAid. So if you're doing a small amount of stuff in it, everything I've done in it so far seems to work really well. It reaches the bottom and everything. It's great. It's called BCP, and it comes in various
I was going to ask why this thing was being recorded, but I guess now we're part of a commercial for BCP. Send me the consent forms. I'll have my lawyer look it over.
Darn it. No, I just like it. I think it's kind of neat. I just, as I say, because I mean the KitchenAids are so expensive. I mean they're great, the KitchenAids.
Hey, Gaynor, I got a question for you. So I was trying to be an overachiever. The cheesecake. I have it in a probably 9-inch pan instead of 6 to 7, and I forgot to reduce the heat. So it's been in for 25 minutes, and it looks like.
Does it look done?
It kind of does, but I've never made a cheesecake before.
It should be slightly. Let me come have a look around and have a look on that. It should be slightly soft in the middle.
It's a little squishy.
Yeah. How are the outsides? Is the outside cooked?
It's a little brownish on the outside.
All right. Well, I would leave it out because it looks like it's going to set up okay. All right.
Okay. All right. I'm going to slow my roll and not do
what
things.
sort of dog do you guys have?
We have a rescue. She's a hound shepherd mix,
Oh, cool.
and she
How long-
smells chicken.
All right. All right. I'm just getting out my goat cheese. I don't know why this one is double wrapped. Who knows? But it's like in plastic, and it's also was wrapped in paper as well. I don't know why. Just to make it look more artisan probably or something. So your cheeses are going to go in. That's your cream cheese and your goat cheese. And we're just going to blend these together till they're nice and smooth. If I can ever get this one open. I don't know why. Well, I do know why they put cream cheese in these, but it's always really annoying trying to get them out because you make such a mess. I always think it's like, and it sticks to the paper and drives me crazy. Well, there we go. You just can't seem to get it out without leaving half of it on the paper, and there we go. All right, so that's that. And my cream cheese.
We have
And then sour cream and my sugar. So sugar is half a cup of sugar. Yes. Half a cup of sugar, sour cream. I'm going to mix those first and then add the eggs, okay? It's kind of weird because, obviously when I do this, it's not like I'm doing it, like, oh, here I am and everything's just right here. I have to go over here to the sink and go to the stove and the whole thing. I don't think I'll ever watch them. I had a girlfriend. I'm going to add the eggs to this while we're talking. I had a girlfriend stroke student assistant who worked for the Fred Rogers organization. And, when he died, they started doing Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood or whatever it is. Of course, by that time, my kids were grown and I don't think about it. So she calls me one day and she said to me, what are you doing on Thursday? And I said, why? She told me, well, we were meant to have the chef from the Duquesne Club make a cake with this little boy because the thing we're teaching the kids is to do things nice for your friends. I've never even seen it, I don't think. And we're making a cake. And I joked with her because I said, "Are we decorating it?" And she goes, "Well, yeah." I went, "Oh, good God, no." I said, you know me well enough that you never want to have me decorate a cake for you. I always say, if you see I'm doing a cake decorating class, don't come, because I can barely write my name with a pen. I definitely can't do So I mean, I can do the basic stuff. He said, no, it's okay. You just got to show the kid how to put a bit of ice on. Just let him do it. I said, "Oh, okay, fine." So that's what I did, and that's how I ended up doing it, because they the guy from the Duquesne Club missed his chance. So
Now you're
Awesome.
famous.
and I think I've seen a clip of it, but I can't remember. But I often have had a friend of mine who was in Boston with his grandkids, and he came back and he said, "I was sitting with my grandkids and I've got my back to the TV, they're watching TV." He said, "And I suddenly hear this English voice. I think, I know that voice." He said, "I turned around and there you were." So it's funny, but yeah, that's it. My international claim to fame, helping a kid make a cake on the kid actually that's in that. I can't remember his name now. He actually came and took a teenage cooking class with me. I think
cool.
wasn't last summer. It was not last summer. It was summer before, the one before that, I think. And I didn't recognize him because he was like 4 or 5 in that. All right, so I'm just making sure this is nice and smooth, and then I'm just going to pour in that little bit of cream and the vanilla. All right, there we go. So what I'm going to do when the cake comes out, I'm going to actually pop it in the fridge to cool it a bit, the base, because I want to get this in, because it's probably going to take an hour and a quarter or so to cook. So I'll do that when it comes out in a couple of minutes.
We're just putting ours in now, so that's where we're at.
Oh, you're putting yours in now? Oh, you're a show off.
No. The first step.
Oh, I see, the first step. Okay.
This is our oven. Oven takes 20 minutes to heat up, so
Oh God.
it's not even the temperature yet.
We
Well-
disconnected the fire alarm, so it won't be going off the entire time.
Well, my oven, the LED's going on it. The oven works perfectly, but the LED, and I have to sort of go like this, and it's really annoying because you can't. I've had it a while, but it's a good oven, and I can't replace it. It's very annoying. I mean, I'm hoping it's gonna work a bit
I think
longer.
we have the same oven, Gaynor.
Oh, do we?
Double decker, the white.
Yeah, it's a Decor.
I don't know what ours is.
Hers looks cooler than ours.
But I've had it quite a while. I mean, I've had it about 15 years, but it's perfectly okay. It's just that so I have to do this. I have to put my hand over it and read it like this, and sometimes it's a sun shining on it. I can't see it at all.
Ours is a convection oven, but we don't know what that means, and we never use the convection part.
Oh, convection means it cooks faster. Convection, I like to use convection when I'm roasting, because it circulates the air, so it means
Is that real?
things cook quicker.
Ah,
You can convection bake, although I think most domestic convection things just cook the stuff too much on the outside, but it works. It's great for roasting. I use it on roasting a lot. All right, so while we're doing that, let's do the strawberries as well.
all right, let's do that.
So you want to put these in a glass bowl or something non-metallic, all right? But we're just going to cut them up. I do my little knife.
What? I thought you said the Christine.
And you can, depends on how big they are, you might want to cut them in half or in quarters or whatever. And then we're just going to put some sugar on them.
No.
Are we slicing the strawberries?
You can. I'm just cutting them into like wedges, but you can slice them if you want. It doesn't matter really. And what you could do if you wanted to, I'm just going to put sugar on them. But But you could put a little bit of alcohol on them as well if you wanted to. Like some bit of rum or something. But I think I'm just going to do the, just the sugar.
Hey, Dana,
Yes.
our kids love berries, so we have blueberries and raspberries too.
Oh,
So
nice.
Can we just mush them all together?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Show off.
Sorry. Just wanted to make sure I wouldn't like,
Yeah, I've got a few
Throw it off.
raspberries left in the thing as well. So, and the amount of sugar you put on is up to you. I mean, it's really based on how sweet your strawberries are, but you want a decent amount on there so that it kind of, you know, because they'll get a sort of, the sugar will get like a little bit like a syrup while it sits, which is why you want to do them ahead of time. And then just let them sit at room temperature, and then it will get sort of liquidy, and it'll sweeten up the strawberries a little bit, because they always need to be sweetened, because they're always flipping awful most of the time. So just sit those when you've done them, just sit them to one side, all right?
Anyone doing rum?
Yeah, I think rum's is a good choice with that. Or orange liqueur always works well with all fruits and stuff. And orange liqueur is good.
I think I know what I'm gonna get. I'm gonna go.
Wait, we're gonna put this in a food processor?
no.
No, you could if you wanted to. You could food process it if you want to, but no, you'll see the strawberries will soften up while they sit in the it acts a bit like salt does to you know, veggies. It softens it up a little bit. So they'll get a bit softer, and they'll be easier to, you know, they'll be nice.
Just on top of it.
All right, so let's look at the chicken dish. I'm actually going to do my chicken in this small, very old, it's missing one of its handles, but pot, because I wanted something a little wider and a little not so deep, really. So I'm going to use that, but you just want a biggish pot. I took out 2 chicken breasts and they're enormous. So that's why I've got the slightly bigger pot. So we have.
Guys, check this out. This is going on our strawberries.
Woohoo!
Oh, perfect.
Whoa, dogfish.
That looks
rum.
Yummy.
Woo.
Yeah, that goes.
So I have my chicken in here, onion, carrot, fresh pineapple, tomatoes. My mixed herbs in here, I mixed not herbs, spices. I mix all my spices together, oil, carrot, and then this is a little cayenne pepper for later, and garlic, all right? So what I'm gonna do is put some oil in whatever pan you're gonna cook this in and heat it up. We're gonna brown the meat first, okay? So we're gonna put, I mean, I've got like 6 pieces because my chicken breasts were enormous. But you wanna, when you put them in the pan to cook them, you probably wanna do 2 or 3 pieces at a time, because you don't want them to touch each other, because you want them to go brown pretty quickly. So you want your oil fairly hot, so they brown nicely all over, and then we'll take them out. So you just need a bowl or something to put them in, all right?
Should we take the bone off? Or
No, leave the bones in.
And do I need like this kind of pot, or like one that you boil noodles in?
One that you boil noodles in.
Ah.
Or a little like casserole type pot would be good. If you've got something like that, like a little sort of like this. This is like a casserole pot. It's about 4 inches deep, I suppose.
Like this.
Yeah.
This
So
work?
what we're gonna do? Let's see. Yeah, that'll be okay. Have you got a lid for it?
Yeah, we gotta live
Yeah.
for it.
You said
Okay,
that.
good.
Oh, this should be okay.
So with your chicken, then get your oil nice and hot, and then I'm going to put like 3 pieces in, and let them brown. We just want them to brown on the outside. We're not cooking it through. We're just browning them. All right.
Right here.
And this adds flavor and obviously seals in the chicken. When you're making like a stew, a casserole, or something like that, you really want to make sure that you cook your chicken on the bone, because boneless chicken breast, the chicken will just dry out, and it won't taste good. So cooking it on the bone is much better. All
I
right.
guess I'm just trying to figure out how to cut it, because they're like massive.
All right.
pieces.
So what you're gonna do? I'll show you what to do. You want to
Are these onions too?
Those are shallow.
put your chicken breast on the table like this. I'm going to cut this one again. Now, don't saw it with a knife, because if you saw it, you're going to ruin your knife. All right. what you want to do, you're going to go like this, cut in a bit, and then you're going to hit it like really as hard as you can, and then down through the bone like that. Don't saw backwards and forwards. You won't hurt your knife if you hit it, but you will if you saw backwards and forwards. Okay.
Okay.
And once you get through the bone, this is still not completely through this piece, isn't it? There we go. Come on, that's it. You can do it with the cleaver as well. So you're going to just let those brown on one side, turn them over brown on the other side, take them out, put the rest in. All right, now I'm going to show you how to chop an onion. If you don't know how to chop an onion.
You know what? I remember this from when we took your cooking class in person. I still chop.
Oh, good. Well, I do this all the time. Every time I do an opportunity to do an onion, I show everybody like this. So let me get on my little thing here. I'll make it big. All right. So my onion, I have the root this end. I have the stem this end. Take the, cut the stem off and peel off the brown stuff. And then try not to cut through the root. All right. So I'm going to put my little knife in about here. And I'm cutting down towards the right like that, all the way around the onion. I'm following like the contour of the onion. I'm going around like that. This piece of onion is a bit small, so it's kind of hard to do it. But if you follow it around, do equal distance apart, then what will happen is, and keeping the root on keeps it together, and then you turn it this way. I know this is my chicken knife, it doesn't matter because we're cooking with this. And then you just slice equal slices, and your pieces should be pretty uniform. All right? Except my onion decided to fall apart. But.
Yeah, I accidentally was doing what she said.
And it just means, what it means is that your onion pieces are pretty much the same size, which means they'll cook at the same rate. And you won't get some that are burnt or whatever. So don't worry if your chicken sticks to the bottom of your pan. It's not a problem.
Oh, really?
Just turn it over once the skin or the other side goes brown on the surface. Just turn them over. All right.
Hey, Gaynor, quick question.
Yeah.
Our crust just came out of the oven. It has to cool first. Is that right?
Yes.
Can we put it in the refrigerator?
Yes. Pop it in the fridge. I'm going to check mine and see how it is because I want to get it in the oven as soon as it's.
And we're just browning the chicken on both sides?
Yes, just browning it on both sides.
Oh,
Okay, my mixture's fairly cool now. All right, so I'm going to actually get my hands a wash and I'm going to put my filling in and get it in the oven. So I want to make sure it cooks. So I'm just going to pour my mixture in into my shell, into my base. And then I can get it in the oven. This is a time sensitive thing tonight. All right, just wipe that off the top. All right, so it's in the oven. Give it a little tap to flatten it out. Oh, I've got a couple of lumps of, how did I get lumps of cheese in there? A little bit. Hold on, I'm gonna play with this a minute. If I pop it in, what is that? All right. So I'm going to pop mine in the oven, and I'm going to put my timer on for an hour, and then I'm going to see. All right. All right. So these pieces are brown. I'm going to put in the rest. I'm putting them in on top of the raw chicken. It doesn't matter in the bowl because obviously we're still going to go back in a bit. So remember, we're not cooking the chicken, we're just browning it on the outside. All right. All right, so the other things we have to cut up, we need to do our carrot and our onion. Sorry, garlic. So for our garlic, we just want to hit the garlic, take out the inside, and then you're going to mince it using your knife, just rotating it backwards and forwards to get it nice and small. Okay. Nice small pieces. Just pop that to one side, and then I'm going to peel my carrots.
Just one carrot?
Yeah, one big carrot should be enough, or two small ones. And again, you want to try and cut it equal size pieces. I'm going to do it in strips. So I'm just going to cut strips, and then I'm going to cut those into slightly smaller pieces. So about 1/2 inch pieces, I guess I've got. So I'm just turning my chicken over on the other side. And then what we're going to do is drain off most of the liquid, leave a little bit in there. And then we're going to add the onion. And then we will add the, let that cook for a minute, and then we'll add the spices. And I've got all my spices mixed together in here. That's my turmeric, my coriander, my cumin, cinnamon, and ginger all mixed together in here, all right?
Gaynor, we got like a real pineapple.
Yeah, so did I.
Can you show us how to cut it?
Well, what I did actually, if you don't want to do it all, right, just cut a piece off. And then I've got, let me show you the other half. I've got another piece in here. I can show you.
Okay.
I only cut a chunk off the end. All right, so let me just wipe this board down because I have chicken on here. I'll just. So with your pineapple, you want to cut your end off. You didn't do anything with these spices, right?
Not yet.
Okay. And then you want to, you're going to cut it around like this and try and follow the contour of the pineapple a little bit.
Okay.
It's kind of hard because you have to get near, you've got to get those lumps off it. I always find it very frustrating. I hate peeling pineapple. I thought I was going to get away with only doing half of it. And then I'll show you what I use to get the middle out in a minute.
Gaynor, another confession. I told myself I'd buy a fresh pineapple, but I had this
Oh yeah, I would.
pantry.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I would have
So I
done that.
went for it.
I would have gone with that if I hadn't been doing it for the class. I hate
Actually,
peeling
this
pineapple.
expired last year. Best Buy, April 2020.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you have a lot of
It'll
questions.
probably be all right.
See.
Now, so when you do this, what I usually do, I take slices like this, and then I take a where did I put it? I used it earlier. Where did I put it? I put it in here. I've got a set of nesting cookie cutters. So I usually take the cookie cutter and just put that in the middle and take the piece out in the middle like that.
Oh,
So
that's
then I cut it into chunks. So it's about that size, like a round cookie cutter. So it works pretty well.
yeah.
But they're fiddly. They are fiddly. I think very fiddly to peel pineapple. Unless I like to be on a beach and someone doing it for me, and
Yeah.
preferably a nice sweet one. So my husband loves pineapple. I don't tend to eat pineapple much here because I think they're often very bitter, sour, I should say, not bitter. So I don't get too excited about them really. All right. So hopefully you've got a bit of color on your chicken.
Yeah.
So when you get to that point, take it out, pop it in a bowl, and then we're going to pour off some of this fat. Just leave a couple of teaspoons in the bottom. And you can leave those congealed bits if you've got congealed bits in the bottom. I'm going to pour it in here actually. And turn your heat down a bit as well, because you don't want to.
I didn't have full tomatoes, but I have petite diced or stewed
That's fine.
Italian.
That's fine. That's fine.
Matter?
No.
Either one.
All right. So I'm pouring a bit of this off, not all of it, a bit of it. All right. And now I'm going to put. Of course, I've mixed my carrots in now. I'm going to put my onions in if I can separate the carrots again from the onions. So never mind. Whatever. And we're going to cook these just to soften them up a little bit, all right, your onions, before we put the other stuff in. So this is a curry, but it's not really an authentic Indian curry because it's got fruit and stuff in it, which Indian curries don't tend to have. So I actually don't know where it originated from. It could be Hawaii, to be quite honest.
Daniel,
So-
going back to the strawberries, why can't they be in a like metal?
In metal, because when they sit in there with that liquid, they'll get a taste of the metal a little bit.
Oh,
From the acid from the strawberries by sitting in. You may see I've got liquid in mine already, which is nice, which is what you want. It's
Yeah.
basically the sugar, say, acts like a bit like salt, and it draws out the moisture. All right.
Okay.
Right, so we want to cut these until they're lightly golden, all right? And don't, as I say, the congealed bits on the bottom, that's fine. Now, I'm saying to you here, I think 2/3 of a cup of chicken stock, aren't I? Half a cup of chicken broth. You may want a little bit more. I'm probably going to add a bit more because my chicken pieces are big. I'll see. I want the broth to come at least sort of halfway up the chicken, all right? If not a bit more. So you can always add a bit more and top it up, or even a bit of water if you haven't got any more broth.
You add the spices yet?
No, not yet. No. We want to get those onions lightly golden brown first, and then we're going to put the garlic and the spices in, and then and then we're going to cook that for about a minute because the spices, then it will make them warm them up and it will make them sort of activate, and then we're going to have the carrots and tomatoes and the juice and stuff. So just a little bit of color on those. And I've got about a cup of broth here. And I've got my whole tomatoes.
You can add it to the onions.
All right, so I've got a bit of color on there now, so I'm going to throw the garlic in and my spices, which is I have all mixed together. Where the heck did I put them?
I felt this right, Andy.
Yeah, about a wine glass.
Oh, there they are. So this is all the spices mixed together, the cumin, and you know, if you want this spicier, then well, we're gonna have some cayenne at the end, so you can always add more cayenne. But I'm usually fairly generous with the spices because I love things slightly spicy. And you'll probably find this will dry out probably with this in, but let it cook for about a minute, and then we're going to put all the liquid in on the chicken and the stock, and then the carrots, and then the chicken, and then let it cook. And the nice thing is when you put your broth in, you're going to scrape the bottom of the pan to get all those flavors up that are stuck on the bottom of the pan. It's called deglazing. So just about a minute on those, all right? Don't cook them any longer because you'll burn the spices. All right, so I'm actually going to put my stock in first, and I'm putting it in, and I'm going to stir around. Oh, my stock. This was homemade stock, and it's kind of stuck a bit to the bottom of the thing.
You can do more stuff. Like if I have a can, let's put the whole can in.
Yes, I would. You can always cook it down and boil it off. if it's not thick enough. We're going to thicken it a bit at the end. So, as I say, before you put your other things in, use your wooden spoon like a scraper kind of thing to scrape up all the stuff from the bottom. All right, and that adds all those sweet bits of browned meat that we added. Adds it to it, and then we're going to put the carrots in and our tomatoes, and then put your chicken back in.
For a minute.
Yeah, and push your chicken down. It doesn't have to cover it all together because we're going to move it around a bit. But you want it to come about. You want your liquid to come about halfway up your chicken. All right. For cooking purposes, as I said, you can always boil it off at the end. And then what we're going to do, we're going to let that come to a boil, and then turn it down to a simmer. All right.
Dice ones down there.
With a lid on it. Just move some of these bits like that I need for this.
When do you add the pineapple?
At the very end after it's cooked. So we're going to add it at the very end with some cayenne when the mixture's all cooked, because otherwise it will just disintegrate.
Got it.
Won't be good. And that's one of the parsley's going to go in as well.
So my pan's kind of shallow. Like it's definitely not covering halfway up the chicken. That can be
It isn't? Okay. Then add a bit more. Then add some more broth to it, or even water you can add to it. All right. Or a bit more tomato juice, tomato juices from your tomatoes.
So cover it, is that right, Gaynor?
Yes, bring it to a boil first, then turn it down to a simmer and cover it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's just about at a boil. I'm going to move mine back on my stove back here, and cover it. It's going to take about half an hour or so. And then when the meat's cooked, we'll take the chicken out and then turn the heat up and concentrate the cooking liquids, okay? Because that'll make, make the juices, the liquid taste really good is what I'm trying to say. So, all right, let's look at the eggplant, guys. We're going to do this next.
It's always in an unsavory context.
I thought we'd do this now because we can keep this warm. If you've got a second oven, or we can cover it over and we can reheat it. So I thought we should do these next. So we're going to cook these on, we're going to grill them. So if you only have the one oven, if you've got a griddle or a grill pan or something that you can use, you can do them now. Otherwise, you might want to wait and just do them when the when the dessert comes out. I luckily have two ovens, so I can do it that way. But
So heat it to broil then?
yes, to broil.
Okay.
So what we're going to do with these, we're going to lightly oil. I put foil on my baking pan, and I'm going to spray it with a little bit of oil so that the things don't stick.
If you're doing the griddle method,
Woo! Yes.
are you doing that method?
I don't know if you need to go this way or this way.
You guys don't have two ovens, do you?
If you're going to do the griddle,
babe.
you're gonna put oil.
Should we put that in the freezer?
You're gonna put oil on the
Cool first.
on the meat, on the stuff itself. So you're gonna cut these in slices about 1/4 inch thick. All right, rounds, obviously. I don't know why I've got this here. Let me move it out of the way.
That's great, babe.
Leave it. You're gonna leave the skins on too, guys. So about 1/4 inch thick. I'll leave the skins on. Go, I did sharpen this knife, but it doesn't seem to be doing a very good job.
Andy cracked
What
another
makes it
beer.
so
He's having fun.
I think sometimes with
Look at the
eggplant,
skin.
the skin's so waxy.
Yeah, the skin makes it hard to like chop. It's got a
Yeah, it
protective.
does. Yeah, I'm making a little cut in my skin and then cutting into it. And I sharpen my knife. My knife is pretty sharp, but it doesn't, when they're really fresh like this, they often.
Um, 50. I don't know how long that.
I think that's enough. I'm just gonna do that amount. Ooh, now I did something bad here. That one I cut really thin at one end, so I'm not gonna use it. If you got it really skinny on one end, cut the skinny bit off because otherwise it'll burn. There we go.
Otherwise, it'll what?
It'll burn. It'll burn when you cook it.
But just having seeds in them like this.
So we're gonna just put these to one side for a minute, and then we're gonna make in a bowl. We're gonna combine the other ingredients. So you want to chop up your cilantro fairly fine. So about a quarter, a hefty quarter of a cup. This cilantro is lovely. It's so nice. If you need to wash your cilantro, make sure you wash it and dry it really well before you try and dice it up, mince it up, because it will be very hard to do if it's wet. It's very hard to chop it up if it's wet.
Use the salad spinner, is that good? Or should I like dry it with paper towels too?
I usually do it with paper towel. I usually just take a piece. I mean, if you've got a lot, you can do it in a salad spinner, but just do it in the paper towel and give it a good squeeze and dry it off.
Yeah, it has like mud on it.
Yeah, that means it grew. That's a good thing.
We were gonna
And-
try to wash it, just be rebels, but it's dirty.
And then take the big stems off. You can leave the little ones on. And then when you mince it, we're going to mince this a bit like we did the garlic, but obviously we're going to start off by giving it a chop first. So just a bit more. There we go. So again, you're going to mince the same way we did the garlic. Well, I'm going to start by just roughly chopping it a little bit like this, and then like this. So you keep your hand on the front part of your knife and lift the back part of the knife up and come down on the cilantro, and you want it really nice and fine.
Do I cut the vine or just the leaves?
You can. I'm going to show you something. Okay, on the cilantro, I think it's really weird. All cilantro is like this. The main part is up here, and then it has a leaf down there. So what I always do, I pull those two leaves off and then pull the stem off right underneath the main part, but keep that bit as well. All right, because there's always two leaves further down the stalk. All right. I hope everybody likes cilantro. Some people don't like it. They think it tastes like soap.
Yeah, I don't like cilantro very much.
It's funny. I think it's a genetic thing. People, you just kind of. Some people
It
really
smells
just don't like it.
amazing.
My dad
I
thinks
think
it
it
tastes like metallic.
Yes, that's the other thing. Yeah, as well. People just do it. It's funny. And all right, so I've
And a
got my
pinch of
cilantro
cinnamon.
in
Do I add it
here.
all right here?
Yes, it's all going to go in together. So your 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil, your the cumin with a pinch of cinnamon, and what am I say? A tablespoon of lemon juice.
No. You think?
Quarter cup.
We do a lemon.
And about a tablespoon of lemon juice. So mix it together. I'm just using my pastry brush to mix it with. And then what we're going to do, you're going to brush this mixture onto your eggplant slices. All right. So you're going to brush this onto your eggplant slices. Woo! I'm gonna grab a little bit more oil. Actually, I think I've got a lot of
And cinnamon.
cilantro. All right, so I put this all on one side. We're going to cook these. I may turn them over. We'll see how they do, but they should cook through, but we might turn them over. But I put all the mixture on one side. If we turn them over, I'm just going to put a little bit extra oil on the other side, all right? So I'm going to put my broiler on. What you should do, if you're frying them, do them in a very small amount of oil, all right?
Oh, yeah.
And get your oil nice and hot because eggplant sucks up oil like crazy. What I suggest you do if you're going to fry them, let me see, best thing to do. I would partially brown them on both sides and then brush them with the mixture and then just cook them for a couple of minutes longer because you don't want that mixture to burn.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Give your chicken a stir around. And then we're just going to pop these in the oven and under the broiler. Yeah, I was just looking at something else. All right, how's my chicken doing? Getting there. Good.
Should it be like,
Smells amazing.
should the
I'm just
rack be the highest part of the oven?
For the rack, you probably want your rack about 3 or 4 inches from your pan. I'm going to put mine down a bit actually. From the eggplant itself. I've got mine on the highest rack, which is a bit high. I'm going to put it down one because we have plenty of time to let them cook, and I'd rather they cook more slowly so they cook through. All right. I'm just waiting for it to heat up because it's taking a while. My broiler does take a while to heat up. All right, let's see if, I'm heating up. Okay, I'm going to put these up. Just keep an eye on them, guys, okay? Better for them to cook slowly because then they'll cook through. All right, let's move on to our rice because, again, this will hold. Shallot or onion, if you haven't got a shallot, thinly sliced, okay? Onion works fine, just with shallots a little bit sweeter. So I'm just going to peel off the skin and then cut it in thin slices. We'll try and keep it whole, round, but it doesn't matter. If you want to do it in 2 halves, you can do that. That's fine.
Love shallots, Gaynor. Mama Sue started cooking with them, and they have such a good taste.
They do, don't they? They're nice. They're not as bitter as onions. They're a bit expensive, but, use them in moderation. It's not so bad. And you can get them more readily now. For ages, you didn't used to be able to get them, but you can get them now pretty easily in most places. So nice, just thin strips. Did you all manage to get mustard seeds?
Yes.
Good. Well, that's good because they're not always the easiest thing to get hold of.
We phoned a friend.
You found a friend.
Yeah, they were definitely not at Trader Joe's today.
Oh, dear me. That's not good.
But we have a friend who's a really big cook, so she got it.
It helps to have someone who has that stuff.
Absolutely. I'm sure you get those calls all the time.
Oh, I do.
Fine.
All right, so that's my big shallot there, and then my mustard seeds, my rice, and a little bit of oil. So what we're going to do, we're going to cook our shallots first. All right, we're going to put the shallots in the pan with a little bit of oil and cook them so they're golden, and then we're going to stir in the mustard seeds and cook them so they start to pop, and then add the rice, cook it for about a minute. This is a bit the same as when if you did risotto, you add the rice to the oil a little bit first, and then we're going to add the water. Now the water is a cup of water and a quarter teaspoon of salt. So you want to measure yourself a cup of water. Cold water is fine. And we mustn't forget to put the salt in. So we've got about a tablespoon of oil, roughly. All right. Just canola oil, vegetable oil. And just heat it up a little bit, not too much. And then when your oil's slightly warm, put your onion in.
Found it in the dishwasher. A half cup. Will you measure out a half cup of that rice? Do we need to rinse the rice, or is that good?
No, you don't need to.
Okay.
Fancy.
Sometimes recipes say to do that.
They do. They do. Well, it's just enough for sort of 2 people. You can do as much as you like. You just want to increase the water. All right. All right. Now, once your eggplant does go brown on the one side, I want you to flip it over. And I know I don't say this in the recipe, but I'm going to let you finish it. And I would just brush it with a little bit of extra olive oil. All right.
It's brown on
I
one
haven't
side.
cooked this in a while. I'm thinking that's a better way of. So just a bit more olive oil brushed on the top. I'll find my olive oil and my pastry brush.
It's breast bone.
So not too much because eggplant absorbs so much oil. They really do. Suck it up. So you don't want to put too much on.
Barely.
There we go. I'm going to put that in and let that, those just finished browning on the second side. All right, I'm going to grab another spoon. So cook your onions until they're softened and golden, all right? I'll drop more oil in this pan. My cheesecake has another 20 minutes, I think, so. Get a little bit of color on those onions. I've got a little bit on mine, I think, but I'm gonna put my mustard seeds in now, all right? And then cook them until they start to pop. Oh, I must have something oily in the bottom of this because it's sticking a bit. All right, let me check on my. All right, my mustard seeds are starting to pop a little bit. So I'm gonna, once they start to pop a bit, pop your rice in and just stir it around for about a minute, and then we're gonna put the water in and we're gonna cover it. Just stir it around so it doesn't stick to the bottom, will go brown. Just check my eggplant again. Getting that.
Once the eggplant is done, do we flip them back over?
Once it's done, you can just take them out and put them in something and just cover them with foil.
Okay.
Keep them warm. All right, I'm adding my
Wow, you really are good.
my water and a little bit of salt.
Are we done with the oven now? Should we turn the oven off?
Yes. And I'm putting the lid on.
That's all the salt we need. Oh yeah, sure.
I'm going to bring it to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down once it comes to a boil. I should do it with the lid off, actually, where it makes more sense. So let it come to a boil, and then cover it, and then keep an eye on it. Now, if depending on how you measure this, if it's not fully cooked and your water all evaporates, you just add a bit more water to it. All right. All right. I'm at a boil, so I'm going to turn this right down and put my lid on. And then I've got a glass lid, so I can check on mine.
You want to get that line thing? She had it.
Colleen,
Okay.
All right. My eggplant is done. Nice and golden brown on both sides. So I'm going to turn that oven off. And then I'm just going to put these in a dish.
Oh, that's so good. That eggplant,
Is it
just
good?
a little taste of the green stuff is so good.
Yeah, it is good, isn't it?
It looks amazing and smells amazing.
Now, if you did want to salt these, you should wait and do that when you serve them. All right, don't salt them at the moment. Let them sit because they might get a bit watery. But I'm gonna pop them in here. I'm gonna cover them. I'm gonna put mine in where I've turned my oven off, but I'm just gonna pop them into that warm oven to keep them warm. I love eggplant, and actually, you know, I do quite a lot. I do just grilled eggplant, grilled eggplant on the barbecue, with just oil on its own, and it's really nice. It makes a change from, you know, the usual corn, and raw corn. So I'm just going to pop it in the oven. I had the broiler on, and that will on the bottom, that will keep it warm. How am I doing? 13 minutes on my.
This is my favorite, babe. Just keep it.
All right, so have a look and see how your chicken is doing. All right. How do you tell? Well, you're basically going to stab it and see if the chicken looks cooked. I'm going to try and get this off it. It's probably been in a good half hour, so my pieces were quite big. Yeah, I think my chicken is, it looks done.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
too.
pull it off the heat.
Ours looks done. Do we need to like heat thermometer it, or it's good?
No, it just poke it with a knife, and as long as the juices run out clear, it should be good. And then what I want you to do is to take these pieces out, stick them in a bowl, because we're going to turn the heat up to reduce the cooking broth. All right, and we don't want to do that with the chicken in, because the chicken will overcook. My husband doesn't like things on the bone. He always moans, he goes, "You cooked it on the bone." I go, "Well, it tastes better on the bone. It wouldn't be, it's not dry when it's on the bone." "Can't you take the bones off?" "No, I can't. Do it yourself."
Is your husband British too?
Yes, he is.
Where are you from in England?
I was born just outside London, near Windsor, where the Queen's other residence is.
Yes.
But I grew up just outside Stratford-upon-Avon, which is Shakespeare's hometown. Yeah, between Warwick and Stratford-on-Avon.
So I went to University of Warwick for about 2 years.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, I lived in Wellesbourne.
Yeah, absolutely. So Annie, it was just recent. It was like a postgraduate thing I did through my.
Oh.
Annie came to visit, and did we go to Stratford-upon-Avon? No, we didn't go there. We went to a town nearby to have dinner.
Which one? Do you remember? Town.
I'll look it up before.
Oh, cool. That's so. Oh, yeah, I grew up in Wellesbourne. I went to high school in Kyneton, which is the other side of Wellesbourne, going out towards Banbury Way. And I mean, we moved there. I originally, we lived in Leamington.
Yeah.
For
in Spa, right? That's what it's called?
Yes, yeah. That's right, Leamington Spa. When I was in elementary school, and we moved up there when I was like 3 or 4, and we lived there until I was like 12. So I went to elementary school there, and then I went to Myton High, which is on the Warwick Road. Coming out between Leamington and I went there for a year, but then we moved over to Stratford, to Wellesbourne, and I went to Kyneton High School. And
when did you leave?
Oh gosh, we left England in 81.
81, okay.
Yeah, we my husband, well, I graduated in 78. And I worked in London for a while. I worked in Liverpool for a little while, and then we came here at the end of 81. We came for 2 years and we're still here. So,
Dana, what are your kiddos doing these days?
What are
your kids doing?
Oh, my kids? Well, I am now a grandma.
Oh, congrats!
Yes, she's going to be a year old on the 1st of April. So we're actually going down for her first birthday party. So dead excited. So they're as I say, they are in they were in Atlanta. They're in Birmingham again, because my daughter-in-law is from Birmingham. My husband now works for his father-in-law's company. And then my other son is in Atlanta still, running. I was telling Andrew and Melanie just now, he runs a Soccer Shots franchise for my son. And then my daughter's in Baltimore. She is an architectural engineer now. So So
Thank
yeah, they're all over the place, you know. But yeah, so we've actually got to see the baby. Like this will be the 4th time this year. We've driven. Both times we went down there, we drove, and they came up for Christmas, and they drove as well, you know. And of course, they don't go out anywhere because they're stuck at home with the baby. So we felt that it was safe enough to do that. So yeah, we've all well, my husband and I have had our shots now, so
Good.
we're eligible. So, as my one girlfriend said, her and I are the same age. We both turned 65 last fall, and she said, "Who would have thought we were pleased to be 65? only this year are we delighted to be 65."
That's all right.
In high school, I got a fake ID to drink booze. I'm trying to get a fake ID to make it look like I'm 66 now.
Oh, I know, it's so funny. Well, my pastry teacher, she's only 62 or 63. She goes, "I've never wanted to be older than I am, but I do right now." She said to me. But also my kids have been my kids have all been vaccinated too, because my son and daughter-in-law live in Birmingham. My daughter-in-law is a nurse, so she got hers. My son, because in Alabama they don't care what age you are, so he was able to get one. And then my son just got his today because he works with kids, so they're doing all the teachers. He teaches kids, and they're just doing all the teachers in Atlanta. So he got his today, and then my daughter got one because they do work at the Capitol building. So they told them they could get the vaccine. So she said, "Okay."
Well, I recently took up smoking cigarettes because apparently that gets you a shot too. So here's to feeling good all the time.
Oh, that's funny. That's so funny.
That's no Kramer.
All right. So
Got one.
with your liquid for your chicken, I want you to turn it on fairly high, and I want you to reduce it down by about half to 3, depends how much liquid you put in, but about at least half of the liquid you've got in there. How far? It's to taste. All right, purely to taste. We want to make sure it tastes good. I am going to add, if I can find it, I'm going to add some cayenne to mine. You don't have to.
No, we don't have cayenne, but we have red pepper flakes. Is that a good substitute?
Well, I'll be honest with you. That's what I have because I run out of cayenne. Yes, that's
Cool.
fine. I thought I was completely out of cayenne. Just something to make it a little spicier. And then reduce it down. That will intensify the flavor. And you can then correct the seasoning afterwards. And then once we've reduced it down, we'll put the pineapple in. And then the chicken will go back in as well. All right?
So hold on the pineapple until it reduces down.
Yes, because otherwise it will just go to mush. Now, check out your rice. Now, my water has evaporated. Yeah, my rice is cooked. It's good. So I'm actually just going to turn this off, and it should be fairly fluffy, hopefully. But if it is a little crunchy still and all the water's evaporated, put in another 1/4 cup of water or something, all right? I wonder how we've got to do our crostini, haven't we? Oh, you have got to toast your crostini bread, but you can toast it in a toaster if you want. I forgot about that.
Hey, Andy, can you buy me a new pair of New Balance or Air Maxes? Preferably
yeah.
New Balance. Yeah, you bought New Balances for me before.
Yeah.
Can you
you have a-
surprise me and then just tell me how much it costs and I'll just send you a check? Spend
Yeah.
less than 200.
Oh, that's gonna be tough. The good New Balances are like 190 to 220.
Perfect. Yeah, get me something flashy. I'm talking like rainbows, sparkles, something that says COVID's over, bitches.
All right.
All right, guys. So while that's reducing, let's just do crostini. You can choose if you want. You can toast your breads in the oven. You can eat or not. I mean, I know I've told you to turn the oven off, so you might. It's up to you whether you do or not.
That oven. 350.
I have.
Joe, these good?
Oh,
Hell yeah. Yeah, buddy. Are those size 12?
No.
He just said it was laying around. Of course he answered that. I know the answer to that.
All right, so we want to toast this bread. Now, as I say, if you want, you can do it in a toaster. It's up to you. I think I'm going to just put the broiler back on and put them and do them in there. But it's up to you. If you don't want to do that, you can just do them in the toaster.
Dinner, we use Walmart delivery because of COVID instead of
Yeah.
going into the stores. And I asked
Yeah.
for French bread and they subbed Italian. And I
That's
asked
all
for
right.
Swiss chard and they gave me kale. But
That's okay.
enough.
That's all right. I know that's one problem. I've done that as well. I was using their pickup thing, which just they do a very good job, really. I must
they do
admit.
a good job.
I think they do a great job. But yes, sometimes you get weird things. I'm not sure how much exactly. I've got to wash this.
You actually just put it.
Substituting spinach, does that work?
Yes, that's fine. Anything's fine. I went to 3 places to get my. They didn't have it at Aldi's. They didn't have it at Walmart, but I did get it at Giant Eagle. So.
We need a pan.
We got spinach as well,
Oh right. Well, that's fine.
and the last bunch of cilantro.
I got my lovely cilantro. We've got a new Aldi's near us, which is really nice. So I actually got it in there. Right, I'm going to turn this. I'm turning my chicken mixture off for a minute because I don't want it to get too reduced. I'll come back to it in a minute. So wash and dry your whatever you're using. If you are using the Swiss chard, I love the fact that the things are all different colors. It's great. You want to just strip the leaves off the stalks because we don't want the stalks. I should really buy this more often. I do like it. It's so pretty.
Mhm.
I think my
Beautiful.
How many cups are
my cheesecake is nearly done. How many cups is what?
I'm trying to figure out how much spinach to use. This whole thing is
Oh,
pound, so
it'll go down to nothing.
we probably use all of it actually.
What am I saying? I'm saying half a pound, right? Yeah.
Stereo.
I don't even know. I didn't even weigh mine. I just took a bunch of it.
Shut up.
All right. So you want a pot of water and you're going to just peel your cloves of garlic. All right. Don't mash them up. We're going to mash them up later. So just peel them off and you want a pot of water going. A pot of water that your Swiss chard will go in.
Hey, Andy and Brad, I almost bought a plot of land for $15,000 in Evans City, a little north of Cranberry.
You almost bought
Why didn't you?
Because I realized I was buying too much Bitcoin. That's literally nothing. So I was like, why don't I just buy a plot of land then? Good diversification strategy. I need some inflation protection.
You did do it or you didn't do it?
It was 21K. I put an offer in for 15. They came back for 17. And I realized my ADD had me going on to the next thing. I was like, next.
flavor of the week.
got my kick in the real estate market.
Fire.
How much land was it?
What's that?
How much was it?
The land?
Yeah.
It was 21K.
No, like how many acres?
How many acres? You're funny.
The area.
A sliver. It was tiny.
Yeah. Like Reed could run around and cover every square inch in like, I don't know, 4 minutes.
So you're gonna buy a postage stamp where?
It's in Evans City. It's a small little town like Mars. Have you ever been to downtown Mars?
Yeah, once with you guys.
Yeah, so like I think that place is going to blow up because all the data scientists from out west are going to want something trendy with a good school district. So I'm betting long on small towns close to the city.
Okay.
What would you think of here?
The investment.
All right.
I'm looking for
so-
partners if you want in. The company's called Blue Sands LLC.
All right, so I put some salt in my pot with my water. I'm putting my garlic cloves in whole. Gonna bring this to a boil. And then we're gonna add the Swiss chard and then cook it till it's tender. All right, and we're gonna drain it. And I checked my cheesecake. It was almost done, but not quite. So I've just put it back in. I only put it in for an hour. So I put it in for another 5 minutes. I'm going to check. All right. Now, if you've got a mortar and pestle, that's great. If you don't worry about it. I have this lovely one that I got in Mexico, which is made out of lava rock, which is fantastic. So I like to use this one, but you don't have to use this.
That's the cheat code right there.
Ours is limestone from Croatia.
Oh,
That's
oh, la-di-da. So I'm going to taste. If you taste your yeah, I need a little bit more spicy in that.
We just have the bread in, nothing on top of it.
Right, nothing on top of it. You're just toasting it because you're
Okay.
going to put stuff on it in a minute. I'm just going to put a couple of pepper flakes into my. Woo! Shoot, that was way too many. Eat that many pepper flakes, my head's going to explode. There we go. So bring that water to a boil for the Swiss chard, okay?
How much water?
Okay, I have probably put in about 5 cups, I would think.
Oh wow.
I just want enough so that when I put the Swiss chard in, it'll be submerged.
Got it.
Okay, are my toast done? Yes, they are. Oh, so my little toasts are done right here. I'm just going to sit them right here. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're good. Okay.
Alexa, set the timer for 2 minutes.
Great. So we're going to cook the Swiss chard in here, then we're going to drain it out, then we're going to put the garlic in a mortar and pestle if you have one, or you can just mash it up as best you can with a fork or whatever. And then we're going to add some olive oil to that. So we're going to put it in a bowl with the Swiss chard and some olive oil, and then salt and pepper in a bowl. All right. And then we're going to mix it together, and then we're going to put a little bit of lemon juice and olive oil on our crostini, and then just mount the Swiss chard on the top. All right.
Man, that sounds good.
It does, doesn't it? Something different. All right. My cake's looking pretty good. My cheesecake. Ooh. There we go. Come on, boil. Watch pot never boils, right?
When I opened the sour cream, it was brand new sour cream.
Alexa, off.
Hearing you saying about Alexa, I got a kitchen towel for Christmas that says, Alexa, clean the house.
Love
It doesn't work. It
Alexa,
doesn't work properly.
set ours off, Gaynor. She's playing some kind of pop culture.
Oh, did I do that? Was that my fault? All right, let me look at this.
You ever boiled garlic?
Okay, my cheesecake is done.
Have we added the pineapple to the stock yet?
No, I haven't done yet. If you think your liquid tastes good and it's reduced by about half, then you can put the pineapple in and you can put the chicken back in, and then we'll reheat it in a minute. All right, my cheesecake looks. I'm always a bit wary with cheesecake, I must admit.
How do you know? Because you can't do the knife tester, can you?
No, it's my fingers on the top. It's not sticking to it. It's slightly jiggly, very slightly jiggly in the middle. So I think it's good. I'm gonna let it cool completely before I try and get it out of here. So I'm gonna pop it in the fridge and let it chill. All right, my water's at a boil. I'm gonna pop my Swiss chard in, and it's gonna go down and push it all in. Oop. So I'm gonna reheat my chicken as well. If my thing will light, there we go. So I'm gonna add my chicken and my pineapple,
Okay.
and we want a little bit of parsley as well. Oh, parsley, there it is.
Oh. We got it now too.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of, chop a bit of parsley to add to it. This Swiss chard will only take maybe a couple of minutes to cook, okay? And then with your parsley, just, this has been washed. I'm just going to do about a tablespoon, which I'm going to add to this. Also, by the way, I keep my herbs, my parsley. I've had this about 10 days. I keep it in a glass of water and cover it with a plastic bag loosely over the top, and it stops it from wilting. And it's great for cilantro too, and basil.
What was that for?
To keep your parsley nice and fresh, I put it in a vase like this. Put a bag over it, like the bag I buy it in, and just let it sort of hang over the top and keep it in the fridge like that. Then it keeps it damp, wet, moist, but it doesn't go all funny. So this parsley we're just going to put on the top when we serve it. So
Hey, Mel,
Yeah.
where are Jake and Kayla?
They had, I don't know, some family thing, so they signed up for another class with Gaynor,
Oh, nice.
like a
Is
dessert
that-
class.
oh, who's that?
Jake and Kayla, they were the other couple that were going to join us tonight.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was another one of your crew. Okay, I didn't realize.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know they were going to do it.
yeah.
Tell them I miss seeing them and I can't wait to hang out.
I will tell them that.
I think we
Right.
need to plan a trip for the fall.
Yeah.
We still cooking Swiss chard?
Yes, mine's, I think it's done. I mean, as long as it's wilted well, it's done. And then just drain it out. And remember, we're going to pull the garlic out separately. So I'm just going to grab out those garlic cloves. We'll find them. There they are. 1, 2. Now I'm gonna I've drained this, but I'm gonna pat it dry as well. it on some paper towel and dry it a little bit. I don't want it all runny. Or liquidy, I should say. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. So I've squeezed out a lot of the extra liquid from the Swiss chard, okay? Because, and you can, it's up to you, but I'm going to actually cut mine a little bit. I'm just going to dice it up a little bit. I know it's a bit hot, but I'm just going to cut it a little bit. It'll be easier to put it on the,
What was the process?
there we go.
Boiled it with a little bit of garlic. And we just smushed the garlic up in here. And
then we're going to add the oil to it, or some oil to it. I'm going to mush my,
Right now.
mush up my garlic.
garlic.
Should
yeah.
should mush really nice and easily. Now that it's nice and soft.
Oh, we need to put the salt in it.
So a little bit of your olive oil in with your Swiss chard, not all of it, and some salt and pepper. And then we're going to put some lemon juice and oil on the bread pieces. I would taste it before you add any salt, because you did salt your water, and it depends how much salt you put in your water. Yeah, needs a bit more. Drop more oil in there. And then, so I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil on these guys. I'm going to use a little pastry brush to just kind of dot olive oil all over them. And then I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on the bread.
I'm trying to clean as we go because after the kids,
I know.
the kids cooking class, it was like 2 hours of cleaning.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. Now, if you're going to eat these right now, then put it on. If you're not going to eat till later, I would wait to put the Swiss chard on the top. Now, another thing you could do, if you wanted to, I just think, because I did an Italian class last night, you could sprinkle this with a little Parmesan cheese or something. If you wanted to, that would be nice. Nope. I've got some fairly big piece of bread. I made this bread yesterday, so that's why it's a little bigger than normal French bread slices. And then if you want, you might want to even drizzle a little bit more lemon juice on the top. I think I'm going to do that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. All right. All right, so I'm gonna get this stuff out, and I'm gonna reheat my chicken because it's probably fairly hot, but I just want to heat it up a little bit. Get that pineapple to cook. Now with your fruit, when you go to serve this, you might want to put the fruit on the top, or you might just want to serve, this is the strawberries, or you might just want to serve it on the side. It's really kind of up to you. Oop. Have more pepper on those. I love pepper.
It smells so good.
Good, good. Glad to hear it.
You come up with all these recipes yourself, Kenner?
No. I mean, some of mine are the ones are things of my friends, and then some are just I look up ideas for things and then adapt them, you know, based on what I'm trying to achieve, you know, with different. Some I've had for ages. This one I think I've only ever done once before with the Swiss chard. So it varies, you know. I'll sort of put in a vegetable and look up some ideas and then go, well, that'd be nice, but I want to do it with this instead of that, or you know.
But good flavor, yeah.
But I do have some recipes, like the cake I made in my class last night. It's from a friend of mine. It's in her book, but I work with her in New York, and you know, I also got recipes. My chicken mole recipe is from a really nice Mexican restaurant in Cancun. I nearly fainted when I was there, and I had it there, so they gave me the recipe. It was my fault I nearly fainted. I think I had heat. The heat had got to me, but I think they felt dead guilty, so they gave me the recipe, which is kind of cool. All right, so all right, let me put this chicken in something so it looks a little more attractive. And I've just put my rice out in a container here, and it is pretty fluffy. And this is a pillow. Nice. It's not mushy, so that's why it's not sticking together. All right, let me see if I can get this. And then I'm going to see how my cheesecake is and see if I can unmold it.
Logo? There's something different over there.
Okay. There's our chicken. So you got the sweet and the spicy together there with the chicken. And our eggplant. And you've got the eggplant.
Yeah, because we drove past them.
And you may, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a little bit of extra olive oil on top of my eggplant. A little bit left there. And then I'm going to pull out that cake, the cheesecake, and see how it is, and see if I can get it, get the outside off. It might not be quite cool. It's probably okay. All right. So when you do this, you want to get a knife, get it wet. So I'm going to put a bit of water in this glass.
The cheesecake technique?
Yes, the cheesecake technique. I'm gonna use a small. I've got water in my glass here, and I'm just cool. Yeah, I'm gonna run the knife right around the outside of this. It probably could have done with cooling a wee bit more, so hopefully it won't. You want to make sure you do this before you open up the side, because if you open up the side, it's gonna rip the cake.
I missed the beginning, so this is just a wet knife?
Yes, just a wet knife, yes.
Okay.
And then when you do this, do it carefully. I'm actually not going to put my fruit on here because the bottom of this is still pretty warm. But I'm going to do it gradually, and hopefully, yes, it didn't stick. All right. And I'm just going to put it on. It's on the base still. I'm going to leave it on the base because it's still pretty warm. And I don't want to break it. It didn't crack though, so that's a good thing. Trying to pick it up a bit greasy on the bottom. There we go. All right. So again, as I say, if it was nice and cold, I would put the fruit on the top and serve it like that. But as it's still pretty warm. And I'm gonna, this is my
Now-
parsley.
Look at this cheesecake. I just-
Let me see.
Oh, wow.
Oh, beautiful. Good job, guys.
Oh, lovely.
Well, we don't have the right pan.
Oh, it needs to be the
It has
spring.
the spring loaded on.
Surprised we don't have that. Is she there? Gaynor?
What?
Is it a regular cake pan? Is there any getting it out or no?
It's gonna be tricky.
Okay.
Let it, yes, it's gonna be very tricky getting it out. Yeah, because like, you can't tip it upside down. I don't think there's any way you can tip it upside down and get it out. Not really. You may just have to serve it from in there. It'll be one of those things that the first slice might be a mess, and then you'll be able to cut it down and get it out more easily the second slice or whatever. Okay, but yeah, that's why it's a springform pan, because it is, you know, you can't unmold it like you would a cake. Let me see.
Nice.
Good job. Oh, and it's, oh yeah, and that's not bad because you did a big, oh, look at that with the fruit on top and everything.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't wait to eat this.
Mine's too warm. Mine's really warm. I don't want to put my fruit on the top. Let it get completely cold though. And if you're gonna cover it with foil, you might want to stick some toothpicks in it so that it sits up above. Then it won't stick to it. All right. Okay. Well, you guys can party together now.
Annie, thank you for suggesting this and setting it up. And Gaynor, thank you so much for your help. And
Oh, you're
Love you all.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks,
guys.
Gaynor.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.